AITA for not considering my family's schedule for my wedding. NTA. Switch it back to Mexico. If your family is going to be annoying anyway, at least go with what you want 100%. Edit to add my other comment from down below. Some people are getting heated, and it explains the rest of my thinking, right? Parenthesis, I honestly don't care for designation weddings myself. It seems a little like inviting your family to your honeymoon, but it's their wedding. If the younger siblings can't go, they can't go. That's the gamble of having a wedding that far from home. I think people make entirely too much out of weddings. It's the marriage that's important. If it were me, I would get married by a justice of the peace and spend all that money on a trip to Italy, Greece and maybe Turkey with my new spouse. Weddings cost way too much. Leave the family at home. Also, if you marry with someone from another country, it makes sense to have the marriage in the country you want to be living in. The partner will get to see all their family, while you will probably end up living near the other. Anyway, your brother definitely can skip a game. You know why? Because it's a game. They'll have to choose between a once-in-a-lifetime, hopefully, event and a weekly returning thing. NTA, do what you want. Exactly what my eldest brother and his wife did. She moved here to New Zealand, so our family all went over to the US for the wedding, and had a month-long vacation to Lowell. Op's first mistake was agreeing to change the destination. It's your wedding, not Mom's. That very likely emboldened an apparently very demanding mom to demand for even more. I'd put my foot down and say you already accommodated them by switching to Italy. I'd also ask your mother what's more important: a single HS football game and some extracurriculars for the middle/elementary school students, or your wedding. I'm not sure how that's even a question. Your mom's way out of line and projecting, considering they are ones being extremely selfish. I mean, change your wedding location. I don't like that one, because it's too close to their family, and not us's, and then no, change it again to accommodate my preferred vacation schedule, and your younger siblings' school activities, followed by a, and if you do not do, so you are being selfish. Meltdown is utter HORSESHT. NTA. It's your wedding, not theirs. Do what you want. At this point I'd be curious if they even want you to get married to your fiancé with all roadblocks they're throwing your way. P.S. And no, Mom, missing 1 or 2 days of extracurriculars is not as important as your son's freaking wedding. As soon as the mom decided to tack a vacation onto the wedding, it became about her dismissing her son and future daughter-in-law's wedding wishes. That stuck out to me too. There isn't anything to do. Your son's wedding should absolutely be enough. It's not supposed to be some vacation. Is it a bonus if you can make one out it? Sure. Is it a requirement? No. The most important thing is celebrating the union. If I am being honest, this feels like a microaggression. Surely Op's mom knows fiancé is Mexican and can understand why this location would be important, so to make a big fuss out of it just feels off to me. NTA. Op, and honestly switching it from Mexico to Italy was already too much. By doing that you emboldened your mom, as others have mentioned, and your poor fiancé is probably already feeling like your family and their needs outweigh or are more important than her wishes, and her family is in this situation. Please check in on her. She may say she's okay, but if it were me, I might be feeling a little sore about it. Don't you have one of the most important days in your life dictated by a high school football schedule? I hope you realize how nuts that sounds and hold your ground. I don't really know if I can grade this one. Your parents are off being this controlling about the wedding and giving you ultimatums. But this is the issues with destination weddings, especially when you have 4 school-age siblings, and it's during the school year. It's your wedding and you can plan it how you want, but destination weddings always leave somebody out. Your mom is correct that your brother really can't miss games during high school football season, so realistically he is excluded no matter what. It just seems like a tough situation all around, and this is what comes out of destination weddings. They are great if you have guests without school-age kids who can afford it. But with 4 young siblings, scheduling in the middle of the school year was bound to cause problems for them. Edit. Going with Esh. You are probably locked into your date now because of sunk costs, but you saying it's non-negotiable because of symbolic significance puts that ahead of your family's practical ability to get there. Again, it's your wedding and you are not obligated to schedule around anyone, but you also can't be mad then if they don't come, and it strains the family relationship. Yeah, he would be benched forcibly if he missed a game for a vacation, even wedding, if his HS football was anything like mine. You only get like 10 of them. That's a lot of dedication down the drain. You can do what you want in the end, but you have no right to be upset when they don't come. That's the thing with destination and children weddings. Make all the rules you want, but you can't be surprised when people tell you they can't come. And pulling 4 school-age kids out of school for a week is a pretty good reason not to show up. That's the problem with destination wedding. In order for people to make it, they need to mess with stuff in their lives. Not a quick thing on the weekend, they need to plan like a week on take off work and other annoying things. The more kids people have, the harder it is, money-wise and planning-wise now. Destination weddings aren't any cheaper than weddings in the US like Ott keeps insisting. They just shift the cost from the people getting married to the guests. Like the wedding, fine to do it as a destination, but know what you're doing. I noticed they said that they were paying 2 nights of accommodations, not travel cost. Airfare is going to be like $800/person, so $4,800. Hotel will be under $1,000 total for the fam. Nah, your wedding, your choice of date and destination. But just don't be surprised or upset when one or more of your parents, and at least your 16 bro, isn't there. Besides football, junior year is college prep year. Also, your 14 bro will be in his first semester of HS. He may not want to miss out on anything. The 2 7 sisters probably wouldn't miss anything in school. This carrot, nah, if you're having a destination wedding you need accept the fact that some people won't be able to make it. Nah/AITA. You can't expect your parents to drop everything during the school year, when they have school-age children, to fly across the Atlantic for a destination wedding. You have to consider low attendance when you choose a destination wedding. I still don't see how wedding in Italy is cheaper than stateside. Plane tickets alone are $. This, but I will go with it only, 'cause it looks like you are targeting your family and purposefully excluding them from the wedding. It's your wedding, and your choice what to do and how to do, okay, but when your family don't go, you have no right to cry about it. When your family don't send gifts, don't go see your children, don't participate in your life, it's the consequences of your choice. Destination weddings are a very difficult thing to do, and either you really suck on this, or you judge about your family. Unfortunately you do have school-aged siblings, so you should have considered that when planning. I understand that the date is special to you, but it's not really that simple to just take kids out of school for a week in the middle of a semester. That is a really long time to miss whatever they're learning in class, which can be difficult to make up at home. I'm not sure how Italy is somehow a compromise between Mexico and the US, either. Your parents are kind of being jerks by getting you to change the destination, though. It's not their wedding. They really shouldn't have so much influence over the venue, especially if they're not paying for it, and the travel part isn't an issue. They're also being a bit silly about you targeting them somehow. Well, usually when doing destination weddings, after talking about it forever, the destination isn't one of the parents' towns. That's just a wedding. Most of my friends that have families prominently in 2 different locations chose a neutral site to host the wedding, e.g. Last wedding I was at, groom was from Minnesota and bride from Colorado, and they had the wedding in Phoenix. So tired of the selfishness and entitlement of destination weddings. So oblivious to the financial expectations forced upon guests. If you like to travel, go after the wedding. It's called a honeymoon. Amen. I may be in the minority here. For many of the things you said, like choosing to plan the wedding at a destination, etc., you're totally NTA, but one of the first rules of etiquette is that before you set the date you make sure that your close family can be there, if you want them there. Other people's lives continue on, and they may have unavoidable conflicts, even if you are getting married. It's not like the world just stops, and people can just go to Italy at literally any time, just because you're getting married there. AITA for not checking if they could make it on this HUG trip at the time when you wanted them to go. If you don't do that, it's valid for them to feel that you didn't care enough, whether or not they could make it, to even check if they could. Which it honestly sounds like you kind of don't care. If your parents can't go, who cares about those 40 people who are SVP''D? Why are we even pointing that out? They haven't bought tickets because they can't go. You didn't check with them before planning the date because you expect that they can drop everything in their lives to revolve around your schedule. They have every right to be super hurt because you didn't think to make sure they could attend your big day. Yes, this will be a huge issue for years to come. I would consider cancelling and moving the date, whether or not you can get your money back. Maybe I'm extreme, but your mom will literally be angry with you, and you will be resentful at her for the rest of your life if you don't. That's not worth it. So at minimum, just try to show some empathy that your brother won't be able to go to his own sister's wedding. Instead of being angry at your family, you're mad at your mom for being mad that she can't attend your wedding. No wonder she thinks you don't care. You never even told her that you really want her there. Tell her now, if that's how you feel, because based on your actions, she validly doesn't know that. It may save your relationship. Put differently, weddings are huge things, not just for you, but also for your families, who are joining together as well as you. Of course, yes, it is your day, but that day can be and is often super meaningful for many other people other than just the 2 of you. As it should be. Marriage is a huge commitment. The important people want to be there for it. Provided you have any sort of non-totally dysfunctional relationship with them, treat them like that's how you feel about it, too. For someone like me, that included helping out a best man to make it to our destination wedding financially, for making our wedding on a Sunday morning, so that people could fly in / out, and not miss work if they didn't have vacation. That level of accommodation no one expects, of course, but I'm just giving you an example so you can understand why your parents feel like you don't care about them. But AITA for not even checking that your dates would work with your own parents before booking a wedding, that will require people to take at least 4 days vacation to another half of the world, and reacting angrily instead of sadly that they couldn't go, as if their entire schedules revolve around yours, as if they don't want to go to your wedding, when practically you didn't care either way, and you are just going ahead with your plans regardless. And it's not just 4 days, it's also going to affect them for a few days on either end, especially the kids, to recover from jet lag and get back into the school and sports schedule. We have 3 kids, 2 of whom are the ages of the oldest and youngest siblings, and the idea of trying to do this trip in the middle of the school year has my head spinning. There is a reason that your parents are frustrated rather than excited. You've fallen into the classic destination wedding trope headfirst. AITA really? But just thoughtless really. Your siblings have school, and you've not taken the school holidays into account. Do you not want your siblings there? You don't have to be considerate. It's your wedding, your choice. But you've made it really difficult for your family to come, and it wasn't necessary. Where I live you are fined for taking kids out of school during term time. Don't you know about the US? We're not fined here. What if you don't pay? What do they do but expecting a starting high school quarterback to miss a week of practice, and the game is ridiculously selfish. That puts him in the awful position of having to choose between his family and his teammates. They don't always bother with the fine, but if they do they'll start charging penalties, unless you pay up I expect. It's £60 then £120 if you don't pay on time, and then £2,500 in court if they really pursue it. That's per child. They can also give you an education or parenting order if you keep repeating it. You have 4 siblings in school, and made the choice to arrange a wedding halfway around the planet during the middle of the school term. 2 of your siblings are in high school. There is 0 chance I'd be taking my high school kids out of class for a week or more in the middle of term for a vacation. If I was your parent, I wouldn't be coming to your wedding, because I'd need to stay at home with my school-aged kids who are attending school. Sounds like you just assumed that your parents and siblings would be okay with blowing off a week of school in order to fly halfway around the planet to see you get married. Looks like you assumed wrong. School dates are well known and are not subject to negotiation. Your brother can't plan to not have school that week, even if he knows 18 months in advance. That's not how schools work. It's absurd to fly from the US to Europe for 2 nights. Have you not heard of jet lag at all? I've done business trips like this, and it's possible, but brutal. It's not something I would actually do by choice. Right (AITA). If the brother is 16, he is a junior, which is a huge year for college applications. College counselors often say junior grades are the most important and most assessed during the admission process, and I don't know if we all have noticed, but the college admissions process has gotten fierce. If brother missed a week or more at midterms time, which October usually is, he could fall behind in his classes and spend the rest of the term trying to come back from behind. This could seriously mess up his grades, on top of affecting his sports season if he is a scholarship contender. OP is asking a lot from this kid for his wedding. OP is allowed to have the wedding whenever they want, but if you have a destination wedding across the world during a school year, you have to be okay with people, even family, missing it. Nah. Totally agree with nah. OP can have wedding whenever wherever, but it's only 1-day celebration. If there is anyone in the family that goes to school at any level, that is future impacting, especially in the US, if his brother is the quarterback. It could possibly even cost him a scholarship. Family is understandably mad as they want to see their son get married, but school is more important, especially at those ages. OP decided on destination wedding, and that always has some drawbacks. People have their own lives and some things cannot be rescheduled, exams, surgeries, deadlines. Not just a sucky situation. I still think it veers into AITA territory, because OP seems upset that his family might not come. I agree they should schedule the wedding when they want, but if potential guests, including family, don't come either because they can't afford it, or because they have commitments, high school, they need to be okay with it. The mother is right. OP does not seem to care about the scheduling decision impacts other people. He wants them to come, but seems uninterested in making that possible. AITA. For the destination wedding. For not choosing a summer wedding date when your siblings are on their summer break. It's like you don't want your family there. Sincerely doubt Italy is cheaper than the US to have the wedding. Now you are having all your guests fly to Europe and get the hotels, making them spend thousands. Agree? He says that weddings in the US are expensive, so instead he will pay for 2 nights of international travel for his family. That does not make sense. Weddings do not have to be expensive, but the travel certainly will be. Oppa's not even paying for 2 nights of international travel, though. They're already paying for 2 nights in a hotel. They expect guests to foot their own expenses for traveling to and from that hotel. Flights, ground transportation, meals, and several nights of additional lodging, because a 48-hour trip to Italy is a farcical proposition. Right? No way would I consider a 2-night subsidy at a hotel a generous offer. To me it's a poor attempt to make it seem you want me there. If you don't, that's totally cool, but don't pretend that this is a reasonable scenario. NTA- your mom already got you to change the wedding location, now she's trying the date. Fuck that. She's not getting married, you are. She's not going to have your children, and she doesn't get to pick the decorations either. This isn't your mother's wedding day, it's yours. You made the first mistake changing the destination. Don't make a second and change the date. If my fiancé was letting her mother boss her around like that, I'd be considering not marrying her. You have to draw boundaries between your parents and the new family you're starting. Nope. Furthermore, I don't care if your brother is the next Peyton Manning, he can miss one effing high school football game for your wedding. Frankly, I'd be switching it back to Mexico if she fights you anymore on this. I am getting the vibe that Oppa's mum isn't actually like the fiancé and or approve of the marriage. If you really wanted a destination wedding, you should have done it in Mexico, considering the fact that you have siblings in school and they have activities going on. They cannot postpone their activities, but you can definitely postpone your wedding date. She has responsibilities for her children and has to fulfill them. Added to that, flying to Italy from the US would create unnecessary burden on guests and mainly your siblings. I get your point, but Oppa's mum literally made a fuss because it was in Mexico. It would been easier in Mexico for everyone, but she complained it wasn't fair.